Well, as he headed out the door on Tuesday, Governor Murphy took some last-minute action that's drawing sharp criticism from immigrant advocates across the state, declining to sign two major bills that would have offered permanent protections for immigrants here, warning that signing the bills would weaken existing laws and open New Jersey up to new legal challenges. Now, proponents of those measures say they'll be looking to the Sherrill administration for answers. Raven Santana reports as part of our Under the Dome series.
Governor Murphy did not meet the moment. Governor Murphy left our communities out to freeze in the cold.
In his final hours in office, Governor Phil Murphy declined to sign 2 out of 3 closely watched and highly contentious immigrant protection bills aimed at limiting cooperation with federal immigration authorities. Murphy did sign a narrower measure to keep ICE out of sensitive locations, including schools, hospitals, courthouses, and places of worship, but he pocket vetoed the other 2, prompting frustration from immigrant advocates, including Viri Martinez with the New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice.
The 2 bills that were left on the table were the Immigrant Trust Directive codification, which the Immigrant Trust Directive already outlined the ways that police and the state of New Jersey and ICE could collaborate and could not collaborate. They could only collaborate in certain cases. And this bill went a step farther by removing final orders of removal, which our community really needed. The other piece of legislation that was left on the table, that was on the table by Governor Murphy, was the Data and Privacy Protections Act, which would create protections for our communities and safeguarding our data.
That bill would have prevented healthcare facilities and government agencies from sharing sensitive information like immigration status with the federal government. Murphy defended the decision in a statement, saying he was extremely concerned the bills could spark new legal challenges that could threaten existing protections, including the Immigrant Trust Directive. Reopening the door to judicial scrutiny of our state's immigration policies, combined with the Trump administration's increasingly targeted actions against states and cities, is a recipe for disaster for our immigrant brothers and sisters and puts them in greater danger. And that is not something I am willing to risk when the directive is secure for the foreseeable future. Advocates I spoke with say they are frustrated that it took this long for Governor Murphy to sign that piece of legislation, and they say they are now cautiously optimistic about the future as they watch Governor Sherrill be sworn in hopes that they don't have to start from scratch.
It's been bittersweet, right? We did win one bill, and the other 2 have left a lot of promises behind. Now with new Governor Sherrill coming in, it's going to be very difficult. We would have to start all over, get sponsors, become that voice again in the state to the legislators in the Assembly and the Senate. But most of all, I think because of the time we're living, the intense aggressiveness of ICE in our streets right now. Just this morning, we've had about 5 to 8 detained persons in Trenton alone. And so this just leaves us very, very, very at risk.
In Hoboken, newly elected District 32 Assembly members Ravi Bala and Katie Brennan join immigrant advocates frustrated over Murphy's vetoes at a time when reports of ICE activity are increasing.
I was really upset to hear that Governor Murphy on the way out did not sign the Immigrant Trust Directive into law. What are we waiting for at this point? We really need to make sure that the state is using its full set of tools in the toolbox to protect our communities. We have certainly reached a tipping point.
In Braddock Park, a few miles away from here, 4 people were kidnapped by ICE agents. That's what's happening in Hudson County right now. We have to make our voices heard, amplify these stories, and make sure we resist this type of oppression.
The bill's sponsors in the Assembly say they will reintroduce the 2 vetoed measures and plan to work with Governor Sherrill to get them enacted. Meantime, advocates say they are shifting to community education, urging people to know their rights while preparing to push for the legislation yet again. For NJ Spotlight News, I'm Raven Santana.
Under the Dome is made possible in part by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. a private corporation funded by the American people.